Hello, welcome to the third or fourth playtest of Tumbling. Um, I am Sydney Chris. I am sitting on my bed with my bedroom stuff behind me, and I am to RPGs what writing longsword on the side of a gun is to subtlety in filmmaking. I have with me my favorite ascended chatbot. Ryan, would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Ryan. I use he, him. I'm sitting here in my normal computer room, but wearing my comfy sitting around the house plaid. I've got various degrees of plaid. This one has a fleece lining, so you can see that it's extra comfy. And a Gauntlet Hangout shirt because Gauntlet Hangouts are awesome. And I am to RPGs what that person yelling "just kiss already" in the background of a play. So
Is that does that happen in a lot of plays that you go to?
no, except in like TV
Cool.
shows or something. There's always the one going like "get a room, just kiss."
Yeah, that's that like level of unreality that we should play into. I love it. Um, so thanks for catching me on pronouns as well. I didn't do that. My pronouns are they, them, and it's a joy to be here. We're going to play Tumbling. Tumbling is a game about a romantic comedy about, or at least a romantic meet cute about two people who go to the same coin laundry. Do you or have you used a coin laundry, Ryan?
Not in quite a long time, but I'm familiar with the coin laundry concept.
It's a great concept. They're just the worst. I went to one today, so that's why I'm super keen to play this with you. Um, our aim is to explore the two characters, and it's not to make them fall in love, and it's not to have them break up. It's just to explore them, and maybe they'll fall in love, and maybe they won't. We'll find out together. Our tone is like pretty straight and heartfelt, but it's also it can also jump into the light stuff like it on that good society scale we can go into the drama side or the fast side. I guess it probably sits more in that middle romantic comedy where actions have consequences but slights are forgiven, I guess, would be the best way to put it. Subject matter we've had a chat about off air, and our X card is in play. We can also use script change for pauses and rewinds. And most importantly, this is very much a game that has consent built into it. So that would be an important thing for me if we can sort of appreciate consent in characters approaching each other and touching each other and, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I didn't
Um,
even mention that because I assumed that was a given that it's
yeah.
you and a game you wrote. But
Yeah, it's just nice to say given sometimes. So I would say that because it's an important part of that design space. So I've
yes,
sent
I'm
to you the
calling
link
myself
to.
out for not mentioning things that should have been mentioned.
That's right, you're a terrible person. I'm gonna stop playing with you forever now. Um, so I've sent you a link to a Google spreadsheet, and I've sent you a link to a role for your party. Do you have both of those?
I do, and it's a nice spreadsheet, and I understand your choice of tokens, but I must say that at first I was like, so one's an X-Man, and one's Black Widow, and then maybe they kiss.
One's an X-Man and one's Black Widow. This is our X-Man and our Black Widow tokens that maybe kiss. I love it. I'm all about it. Okay, so let's begin by going to our roll for your party, and we are going to, with enabling hidden draws, we are going to draw, um, I think, 12 cards each. 12 has been a good number for me. Um, Now, in this game, the only things that ever matter besides, like the numbers never matter, but suits matter, and specifically the colors matter. It's going to be a game about playing to tones and stuff like that. So what I might just do is drag my stuff out of the way because I'm playing on a small screen at the moment because oh no, because I'm playing on my laptop. As I said to Ryan before we started, my roommate is doing his own little romantic comedy meet cute in our living room, so I am confined to my bedroom lest I interrupt the romance. Hey Ryan, what's a romantic comedy that you've watched in the past 7 days?
I don't think think I've watched one in the past 7 days. I very nearly did, but then I went, I don't know if I'm up for a whole movie right now, and picked a TV show instead.
I
I'm really
mean,
letting myself down.
my one was going to be Buffy, which is a TV show, so
Oh, okay. I rewatched Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which has rom-com plot lines.
definitely does. Definitely does. Um, okay, so we have 12 cards. We're going to begin by creating characters, which I know, right? Hold on, that's some weird RPG shit right there. In order to create characters, we're going to play cards to each other, and we're going to ask the questions. See those two blue boxes underneath the names section, underneath the X-Man and the Black Widow symbol. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to play one of them, and based on the suit that shows, we're going to ask each other, "What are you watching that shows us?" And then a question. This may remind you a lot of sympathy and admiration. Similar touchstone.
So, does which questions we ask depend upon which like column we're in, or are those both free game for everyone, or what?
They're both free game for everyone. Um, you can ask any number. You can ask like two from. So what we'll do is we're going to go back and forth. So you're going to ask me one, then I'm going to ask you one, then you're going to ask me one, then I'm going to ask you one, and you can go into the same column twice, or you can jump around or whatever. The layout's really bad because I haven't spoken to a layout person yet about how to make this game work. So is there a question on there that's kind of intriguing you in some way that links to a card that you have in your hand?
I'm just going, oh no, which questions are good? And then, crap, I have to see which cards I have. And basically the same issue I had with Sympathy and Admiration, where I'm like, this isn't too much to be thinking. It's just more than one thing at a time. Can my brain cope?
Normally at this stage, you should probably have like about one of each suit. So if there's a question that you're really interested in, you've probably got a card for it.
And I'm gonna play this one once I figure out how to reveal it. I already know, but I forget every time. Okay, so, a diamond. Oh no, pull up the rules. Crap, too many windows. Watch me stall for time. I've got a diamond. So what are you watching that shows us how you've changed your look recently?
Oh man, I think you're asking the same one. This is really interesting. Okay. Um, what kind of character do I want to do? Okay. I've got an idea. Um, so out of the who, how do I want to change my look? Oh, Ryan, this is really interesting. I do not feel prepared for this. Um, I think that my character is pulling clothes out of a washing machine, and uh, as they're pulling them out, we can see like some of them look really big. Um, and as he like pulls them out and holds them up to himself, he gets like this little smile as like we realize they're two or three sizes too big, and he puts them away. And then every now and then, like he'll pull one out, and it'll be like the right size for him. And he holds it up. And he's like, "Yeah, like I'm at the end of this tremendous weight loss journey, and like I feel stoked about myself for that." I'm gonna play you a card, and my card is going to be. I'm going to give you a heart, and I'm going to ask you, what are you washing that shows us who is important to you?
So, as my character is, yeah, putting stuff into the wash, kind of picks up a shirt, and before flipping it inside out to protect the print on it, you can see briefly that it's clearly like homemade, not quite iron on, but maybe actually screen printed. I don't know. They maybe put some effort into it. Like world's okayest sibling, where it's the kind of shirt that no one would actually treasure because it's terrible, and yet that's exactly why you treasure it. And then yeah, flips it inside out, and sticks it in the wash.
Well, it's okay, a sibling. That's the best. That's the absolute best. Um, oh, it's your turn. You get to play one for me now.
Let's see what we got.
Hey Ryan, guess which thing you're doing right now?
I did it again. I'm so bad at this. Okay, so I managed to eventually reveal a spade and eventually unmute myself to ask, "What are you washing?" That shows us you're somehow stuck.
Oh man, that's really good. Um, I'm somehow stuck. Okay. So, uh, how, I, as I'm pulling these, so I finished pulling all these clothes out of the washing machine, and I still, I'm looking to load it up with the next load, and this time I just, take my shoes off, take like my runners off, and put them in, and they're like old and ratty, and like one of the soles is starting to fall apart. And when I put them and my socks in and start the washing machine, I just have to like walk around the laundromat like barefoot. And I think we get this like real feeling that um, this is the only pair of shoes that like I own. Uh, okay. Hmm, what do I ask the world's okayest sibling next? Um, let's. Oh, this will be interesting if I play this one, because then it's going to do interesting things later. Um, I don't think you did reveal that. Oh no, you did reveal that. But there you go. That's cool. Which means I don't know if yes, I did. I reveal to you a club, and I ask, "What are you washing that shows us what you wish looked different?" My favorite part about playing with you, Ryan, is I'm never sure if you're frozen or if you're just thinking.
I'm thinking because it's a good question. I'm considering how to approach it. I feel like I need a little buffering icon or something when I'm trying to figure out how to approach a question. So, as I'm loading up this, or my character, or whatever, narration form, I don't know, person is loading up this load of washing. And there's a bunch of t-shirts and some like ratty jeans and everything. And then um, a couple fairly nice put together looking things that aren't nice enough really to need dry cleaning, but are clearly like the aspirational. I could look this put together, you know, decent jeans and trendy cut shirts that actually need to button up and look fairly rad. But there's only a few of them, and kind of looking at them sort of like, but when am I going to wear this again? I mean, do I really need to put this in now, or can it sit dirty for a bit longer? Do I want to spend the change on this? And then throw some in.
That's really good. That's really good. If you have a name and or pronouns for your character at this point, I recommend throwing them in the name tab at the top. I just put mine in. My Biggest Loser one pair of shoes character is called Trip, and it's he him pronouns. And I'm the Black Widow tag.
I'm putting in pronouns, but I'm going to take a second longer to think of names because now I'm just thinking X-Men names, and that's silly. So.
Oh man, Logan. Okay. So what we're going to do is I want you to take the rest of your cards and I want you to put them in any order you wish. We're going to clear these ones out of the middle here. I'm just going to put them off to the side. I want you to put them in any order you wish. And the big thing is that, so in this game, I'm not sure if Sympathy and Admiration is the same setup, but you'll be playing the top card while we're in this kind of like emotional state before we move to the epilogue. So each scene is going to represent a need that you have. Red cards are a desire for closeness, physical touch, intimacy, knowing more, being together, mutual support, and negatively pressure, expectation, and obligation. Black cards are a desire for distance, time alone, arm's length, personal growth, space, coldness, selfishness, rejection, that sort of stuff. So and by the way, these are like in Swords Without Master, you can hit them really broadly. Like you don't need it to be very specific, and you don't need to like it to be your only driving factor. But for example, a red card would be, if what have I seen? If you're at the table and you're folding your cool, trendy hipster jeans, and I move and take the space next to you, like to be physically close to you, that's an example of a red card action, and I can play my red card there. Alternatively, if I see you and instead of engaging with you and saying hello and having a big conversation, I sort of like nod and wave to you and then put my headphones on. That's a really good example of like a black card sort of thing. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Cool. So what you're going to do is you're going to stack your cards up in the order of your character's need. Like, so you're just going to stack them up, and that's going to be the order of your character's needs, which means that if halfway through you're like, oh no, our characters are like really drifting apart, and I would like it if they could be closer, that's kind of tough luck. You have your needs, and you will engage with them as they come up. And our goal in each scene is to match colors. And if we match colors and our characters need the same thing, we all move closer towards each other. Does that make sense? Cool. So,
Also, my character's named Logan now because you did it, so there.
yes, that's such a good character name. All right, I'll put these at the bottom in the order, so it's going to snake like that for me. Cool. I'm super excited looking at my cards and wondering how you're going to be. It's going to be interesting. Interesting to say the least. And then once they're in order, let me know. And then when or if when our tokens do touch, because we have gotten close enough and our tokens touch, when that happens, we move into the epilogue phase where the cards that are left will mean something different. We'll be using them for prompts again, but it'll be a different kind.
Okay, I have arranged cards.
Okay, wonderful. In which case, let's begin our first scene. So, who do you think of Logan and Trip would be in the laundry first? Like, as in earliest in the day?
I don't know. Let's say Logan. Why not?
I accidentally clicked a thing on my laptop and it brought up an install thing and was trying to install an app while I was doing this. So that was frustrating. Logan, so you're going to take off the scene. You tell us, play to your tone as broadly or as specifically as you want. You tell us, regular role playing stuff, who you are, what you do, what you're about. I will enter, I will interact with you, and then the keyword is if this was like an Apocalypse World game, the move is when you take explicit action to show your needs to the other character, reveal your card. And that will, when we both reveal the cards, we end the scene. So it's our choice of pacing, how we want to do it. There's no requirement. It's not like you have to do it in a certain amount of time or whatever. It's just when you feel right, when you feel like you have expressed the need that you wanted to express in that scene, you play your card. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Cool.
So, I think we see Logan still kind of looking through clothes, putting in a load of washing and everything, as a load dings that it's done. He goes like, oh heck. Yeah. Pulls it open, quickly sorts out what needs tumbling, name dropping, and what has to be hang dried. I can conjugate verbs. I'm not making this up. And kind of looks over and spots Trip and picks a dryer like a little bit away, so he's not right next to Trip, and sort of loads that up and starts feeding in coins. And I am revealing a card. Oh no, am I hitting the wrong button? No, I'm not. Yes, I am. I don't know. There should be a black card.
Yes, there is. There is. Just throw that out in the middle because we'll be sort of moving them to the middle and then getting rid of them as we. Unlike Sympathy and Admiration, the cards don't get reused after they get used here. So I think Trip looks over at you, and I'm probably going to spend a bit more time in this scene because I want to like get to know you and see you. But so that's the stuff. So I think Trip looks over at you, and he's Trip is still like a fairly like a fairly big guy, but he carries himself like an even bigger guy, and he I think he actually looks down at his like bare feet, and he like makes comment on them to you to like make conversation. He's like, uh, "Hey, yeah, sorry about the bare feet thing, right?"
Oh, am I allowed to interact in your
Yeah, yeah,
scenes? I didn't
yeah.
know if
No,
they were
no. This is
separate.
no. This is it's a collaborative thing. It's not like a
Ah, okay.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's fine. I mean,
Um,
I'm not the shoe police.
yeah. No, I just I was and he kind of like looks over his shoulder and makes sure that this place is empty. He's like it doesn't smell right.
Oh, and look, and kind of subtly in that way where you're trying to be sneaky and you're totally not being sneaky. He tries to like sniff to see if he smells.
Um, yeah, I guess I just you know I when I was a kid doing like sports at school, I used to like when we get back to the lockers afterwards, I used to always get picked on because like my shoes would smell. And
And I
at
was kind of
this,
doing.
I was just gonna say, at this point of vulnerability, I'm gonna reveal my red card here and let you hang me out to dry.
Yeah, and Logan kind of does that. We're having a conversation that's kind of awkward, and I don't know if I want to be having it. It was like, yeah, cool. Checks the tag of a shirt more clearly than he really needs to. I mean, looking at it, it's gotta be, tumble dry low, like almost every piece of cotton fabric is. But he's sure studying closely to see whether it can handle bleach, even though there is no bleach in his laundry basket.
There's no bleach. Oh, that's horrific. Um, and Trip just kind of like goes quiet and like sinks into himself. And it sounds like we're both like halfway through what we're doing, so it's just like an hour of or like 40 minutes of just silence after that. You monster, Ryan.
This is already torture.
It's gonna get worse. So our characters, I kind of want to do a different thing with this. I kind of wanted to play test a different way of doing this, which is great because um, it's kind of coming together. So um, where I want us to get to an epilogue, even if we're like, um, I so what I have been doing is we get to the epilogue if we get to the will they part of the will they won't they thing, and what I want to do is I want to set this up so that we can get to the epilogue of a won't they part sort of thing. So let's move towards that. Let's move our tokens. We'll go down the dryer on the character keeper. So we'll move closer to each other, but we'll move closer to each other on the bottom side rather than moving closer to each other on the top side, which is what we'll do if we get closer.
So
And
we're confirming either our chemistry or lack thereof.
mm, I think so. No, you know what? The epilogue won't work if we do that. So let's just orbit around each other. That's a better way of doing it. Let's stick with that, and then I'll look at. I can't design while I'm playing. It's going to be a bad idea. Okay. Um, you have your next card. I have my next card, and now I get to frame the scene because you framed the last one. And the scenes yeah are interactive rather than like I think sympathy and admiration is very much like a you speak I speak form of scene framing. This is very much more about like us spending time in each other's company.
I was thinking a Swords Without Master sort of thing, where I do my bit and
Ah,
then I tell you how glum I am.
nah, fuck that. That's for nerds. We are going to play together. I'm so sorry for everyone for whom I'm giving vertigo by moving my laptop around. All right, I'm back. I'm back at it. So, this is I think probably I want to go into a bit of what the laundromat is, right? So I think it's probably like a few months later, and it's really like hot outside. Like we can see that the trees outside are like that really like blanched brown of hot summer. You wouldn't know what summer looks like, Alaska boy, but hot summer like heat that like yeah wilts the leaves on the trees, um, and inside the laundry, it's like it's one of the cheaper ones in the city, and so like the air conditioning on it is loud and drips water on the inside, and so when you step in, you have to like step over a puddle that the air conditioner causes near the door, and there's like a instead of anyone fixing it, they've just put up like one of those little yellow wet floor watch your step signs. Um, and Trip kind of steps over it with his clothes already going. He's just kind of, I think he's probably like come back from a run while his clothes are washing. And he comes back in and takes his headphones out. And like he's breathing really heavy, sucking in big ones. And he stands underneath the air conditioner and like opens himself up in a big T pose and just lets the failing cold air blow across him. You want to do a thing? So I'm not playing a card yet because I don't have to, and I don't feel like and I kind of want to see this scene go a bit further.
Oh, I was waiting to see whether you were going to build that as a card or just stare at me until I did something about your T-pose.
Yeah, I want to stare at you until you do something.
I think Logan's already inside the laundry and is just wilting. It's too hot. He looks miserable. Wiping his brow. His hair's sweaty and kind of plastered down. And in like a loose t-shirt and shorts, and looks like that is still too much, and he's miserable. And he's looking longingly at the air conditioner like, why are you hogging the air? I want to go do that, and you were the braver of the two of us.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Trip probably like looks over his shoulder at you and he's like, hey, world's okay, sibling. I haven't seen you in a couple of months. Where have you been?
And my out of character laugh is also in character at that, although I was muted. Like, around, dying in the heat like everything.
Oh, dying in it. Yeah, it's because you're standing over there in the corner, like well away from everything. The air doesn't reach the corner. Come up here. Just stand in it. And I think in inviting you into my space, I will reveal my red card.
And I don't reveal cards here, do I? I just do your
You
scene.
can if you want, but you have to. Your character has to take decisive action to reveal that card to me.
Okay.
So, like, rejecting me, it can be a decisive action. Like or like ignoring me is a decisive action. But yeah, you have to act toward it to
Yeah,
reveal it.
well, in this case, it's going to be divisive action
Oh
because
no.
Logan looks kind of longingly at the air conditioner, and then the washer beeps, and he hurries over like, I gotta take care of these before they get all wrinkly and gross.
Oh,
Because
Ryan,
mine's a black card.
stop being so bad at games. Oh my god.
I mean,
No.
you're not picking the right colors. You're bad at games.
I'm amazing at games. All right. We get rid of these two. Oh, that's cool. I don't know how I did that. Oh, it reset them. Well, fuck that. I think, yeah, I think Trip just like shrugs and he's just like, yeah, suit yourself, right? Like, I don't think he really takes it personally. Although he thinks in his head, he's probably like, what an uncomfortable and rude person, I guess. Not so much rude. What's what I'm looking for? He's probably just like, yeah, like uh, isolated, I guess. Some people like to be on their own. Whatever. Shrugs. Have you got another card? And it's your turn to frame a scene.
So, we continue watching, in awkward silence, or Logan attends to watching while Trip enjoys the terrible air conditioner. Yep. The coolest spot in the building, for whatever that's worth. And moment drags on, and it's super awkward. Until, well, probably still, as yes, wherever I am is not the coolest spot in the building. It's the hottest spot in the building. Excuse you. But Logan just kind of reaches his pocket, sort of counts something, and then says, I'm gonna go get a soda or something. Do you want anything? And kind of counts out some change as he moves toward the door, and I am revealing a red card as I attempt to buy you a soda or beverage.
You have no chill, dog. You're just like, what? I get to start a scene? Here's my card. I love it. I love it. I love how like delightfully expressive you are. It's the best.
I'm driving hard toward a card every time. And also I rhyme, I guess. Fuck, I didn't mean to do that twice.
Okay. Trip looks at you like this like this conflicted look on his face, and the sweat is like pooling over his face. Like this air conditioner is not doing anything. You can just see him still like soaking his shirt. It's probably like a dark colored one, and it's just massive sweat spots all over it. The one that like goes down the back and then like flares out. Yeah, and he goes, oh god, he is like, I gave up that stuff a couple of years ago and like I think he tries to like he's trying to like let you down easily, right? Where he's like, I don't drink that stuff. Like it's just sugar, and I don't. And then he probably just like he bites his lip and just catches like a big bit of sweat there, and it's uncomfortable and hot and sticky. He goes, no, fuck it. It's like what's a good Fahrenheit? It's like 94 degrees outside. Let's just go.
That's not a good Fahrenheit. That's a terrible Fahrenheit.
Yeah, well, an uncomfortably hot. Is it? I don't know. Yeah. I mean, it's a million degrees outside.
My scale of hot, that's the I'm already dead. So that's probably hot.
And I reveal my red card as I offer to walk outside with you. Yay! All right. So now, instead of orbiting around each other, as we have done for the last two, we move toward each other. We can go either way. Which way do you want to go?
I was waiting to see which way you went.
All right, let's go. I will go clockwise. And if you go anti-clockwise, then...
Ha! Take that, clocks. I don't care about your wises. Oh no, I lost my token. There it goes.
Take that, clocks. I don't care about your wises. Okay, cool. So now, that's awesome. We can get rid of these two cards, and we can put them over here. and we can get our next card out. And now I get to frame a scene, and that's very exciting. I think I like the non continuity of it. So we pick up on a cooler day. Those brown leaves that we saw wilting before are now like brown from the autumning, and they like lay across the the ground. And instead of having like a bell that rings when you open the door, you can tell someone's come in because you hear like the crunching of the leaves as the door opens and they step through the doorway. Um, and Trip is like laying across the folding bench. He's got his feet up and he's sitting there with his like arms outstretched at full extension with a book in them. And I think it's like as you come in, he hears the crunching and he turns and looks with the book still out, and just has like a smile on his face.
Look at Dota navigates the door with a big bin of laundry on his hip and tries get in without losing it. Kinda almost does, and just getting he's like, yeah, morning or afternoon. I mean, whichever it is, and like tries to check a watch, realizes he doesn't wear a watch, tries to check a phone, nearly loses the bin, and just gives up and goes and puts his bin down next to some washers.
Yeah. He's uh oh man, I'm so like on edge about how this scene's gonna end. Um, Trip's like, afternoon, but I only woke up like 2 hours ago, so I guess we can go for morning. You and he's kind of like talking to you as he's still reading the book. Because uh, have you been visiting your family lately?
Not lately, no. Yeah, it's kind of far to go.
Yeah,
You?
yeah, right. Oh, you know, I I was meant to see my sister for her birthday, which is why I was thinking of you with your like okayest sibling thing. But yeah, and then you like he turns the page, keeps reading. He's giving you like half of his attention. The other half's on the book.
Just kind of nods, starts pulling stuff out, sticking in a washer, and he's like, well, and you can't go for okayest because I've got the shirt to prove that's mine, so guess you gotta pick a different rank.
And there's he doesn't like laugh or respond or acknowledge the joke. It's great, by the way, Ryan. I love it. It's very sweet. You would win my heart in a second. But Trip just like, uh-huh, and turns the page, keeps reading the book. And I think that's a good time for me to show you my black card as I enjoy my own space.
Yeah, and Logan takes this for what it is, confirmation that his joke was neither funny nor wanted, and continues putting stuff into the washer and kind of pulls out his phone, pulls up an audiobook, and just sticks in some earbuds and goes back to what he's doing. Yeah, both in the same space, but not interacting or talking to each other, because I also have a black card.
Can I postulate the cutest shit that what I'm reading and what you're listening to are like books in the same series?
Totally, that's a thing now. That's canon.
Yes. Yes. Oh, that's my jam. I love that. I like that we can be close together. Okay, you did a good black card that time. I'm proud of you. We get to move closer together. Which means, Ryan, do you know how many more times you have to get this right for us to?
I mean, how many more times you have to get this right? I've played the right card every time.
Well, I've got another one, so let's see how it goes. I think this is your scene, right? Yeah, it is.
So, um, probably a week or so later, it is laundry day again, and the heat has kicked back up. It's kind of miserable. Leaves are still kind of brown and crunchy. You can hear people approaching the laundry. Logan's already inside, putting stuff into the dryer, kind of checking again the tags on some stuff, and fumbling for hangers. And how did he not bring enough hangers? He knows how many things he has to hang. Come on, this is ridiculous. And just like double hanging stuff. He'll sort it out when he gets home. Whatever. When there's the leaf crunching and the door opening and that kind of rush of hot air, and he turns to see Trip enter. And I mean, he's not smiling. You don't see anything. He just kind of looks back to what he's doing quickly, but does spare a glance toward the door.
Uh, okay, so Trip walks in. He's got the bag under one hand and a book, like the next book in the series, or like a couple on, in his hand. And I imagine this is like really like airport paperback kind of stuff. Like it's probably not particularly good literature, but he's absolutely engrossed in it. And he walks in and he like looks up and sees you. Is oh, like hey Logan, and then he throws the thing down. Um, Book still in hand, cracks open the washing machine with one hand, starts like throwing clothes into it with disregard as he's like buried in this book.
And Logan reaches up to his headphones and pauses the audiobook he's listening to, which is like one in the series before the one that Trip's on, because he's catching up, but not that quickly. And kind of continues putting in his laundry and everything, and then pauses and just kind of leans back on a table until he sees Trip finish what he's doing. And making sure that he's on the side that Trip isn't holding the book, he's like, hey, heads up, and tosses a partially frozen water bottle toward him. Like, I know you don't drink soda, but this has got to be safe.
Oh, that's so good. Uh, Trip like catches it with no like athleticism. It's probably like yeah, he like hits it with his hand and then has to drop the book and try and fumble and catch it, and both the book and the bottle hit the ground, and it's like the tiles and where the ice, like the frozen bottom of the bottle hits the tiles, it just like cracks one of them like right through, and this place just like, oh, this like filthy old laundromat just like starts falling apart as soon as anything happens to it. And he looks up and he's kind of got the book in his hand and the bottle in the other, and he's like, um, really good naturedly, he's like, "You made me lose my place," and he like swipes out at your shoulder with the back of the book.
And Logan's face is just 1,000% regret. Like, oh no, I fumbled it. I made him lose his book. I made him drink the water. I broke the laundromat. Everything is awful. But kinda smiles like, but I tried, and it's the thought that counts. You've got
Yeah,
almost here the voice cracking in his thoughts.
that's so good. Um, I'm trying to make decisions on whether I want to reveal cards now or go a little bit long. I think I want to like put this to text, right? So like, he sits up on the bench that you've been leaning against, and cracks open the water bottle, and he's got the book next to him, and he's like, kind of apologetic about it when like he's like, I don't know why I'm so obsessed with these. He's like, they are the trashiest mystery novels, but for some reason, I just can't stop turning pages, and I I like I was brought up on English lit and Shakespeare and Jane Austen, and somehow the one thing that can hold my attention, the one thing that can tear me away from Netflix, is like a shitty mystery novel.
I know. I mean, I'm normally a nonfiction kind of guy, but they're just you can't put them down. I mean, I've gotta know how this one shakes out. And he kind of shows his phone where he's been listening to the last one in the series. It's like
Oh,
this is
that's so good.
seriously all I've been listening to for like the last month.
Trip's eyes go wide and like they sparkle, and he's like, "Oh God, are you up to the bit where?" Oh, and like catches himself before a spoiler thing. He's like, "Oh, I don't just oh, you have to talk. You have to when you're done with that one." And I think like not even thinking, right? Like this is he doesn't even think about like the intimacy of what he's doing here. He tears his bookmark in half, and he writes his uh like an email address on the back of it, and he's like, "Hit me up when you have finished reading that because we have to talk about the ending." And I'm going to reveal to you my red card. Did you already reveal a red one and not tell me?
Yes, I did.
When did
No,
you do that, Ryan?
I revealed that when I threw a water bottle at you.
Oh, that was a really good time to do it. Oh, I that was when I knew the color that you had, but well, I liked playing that scene anyway. And he's yeah, so he tears off, writes his email address, and he's like hit me up when you have finished this.
Yeah, and Logan just tucks it in his pocket because he's wearing a button-up shirt that has a breast pocket and
Oh my
looking
god,
extra put together, extra nice. I mean,
Logan,
not
I
like
love
he
you.
was thinking he might see somebody or anything, but and it's like, oh, I definitely will.
Oh god, I love the idea that like Logan's been looking like that every week that he does his laundry for like the past month and a half. And this is just the first time they've actually met. Hey Ryan, our tokens
Yeah.
touch. Our tokens touch.
Oh my goodness, that happened so fast.
Uh,
Finally, you figured out which cards to pick.
that's right. No, it happened about when they do, which is great. So I have 5 cards left, and you have 5 cards left, and we get to play our epilogue. Now, in epilogues, you are no longer limited to like the deck in that order. You can play any one that you want, right? Um, at any time, you can play and choose from any of the 3 epilogue columns. Can you see those on the thing? We're gonna play a scene. We can either frame a new scene or we can continue this one, whichever you'd like to do. I'm happy with either. Um, and we'll play a scene, and we'll. I actually think that this is a really good scene to continue. If you're happy with it,
Sure.
yeah. Unless there's something specific you really wanted, and then we can frame up a new one and go from there. But basically, what happens is instead of playing cards to take action based on tones, you're playing cards to take action based on prompts. And so those prompts are things like, I've tried to impress you, show me if you play along, or I've left space for you, show me if you fill it, that sort of stuff. So again, there's consent built into all these questions. At no point do I ever want you to feel like you have to buy into a prompt that I play, and I certainly won't feel the same for you. Remember, this is about discovering if these characters connect, not forcing them together. At any time when we're ready, but we have to if it's our last card between us, if it's our last card. But anytime you can play one and pick a prompt from the right hand side. This is our final interaction. Once we answer that one, the game ends. And those ones are like, I've decided that I want to like be explicit about this relationship, or I've decided this isn't going to work and I'm going to walk away. Does that make sense? Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So, yeah, let's go from there, from me, like from you tucking it in your breast pocket, I guess, if you want to pick it up from there, and then don't feel pressured at all to like play one for one. Like if you want to be like, I'm going to do this, and then I respond. So with Barry and I, it was like sometimes he would do something and I would respond, and it would be almost another one on its own. So then I'd just play the next card. But in the end, like uh, it can be like that, or it can be like we play one and then we have scene for a bit and then we play another one, and then maybe you're playing two in a row or whatever. None of that really matters. So yeah, let's go from you chucking that away in your breast pocket. I don't really have anything I want to direct that, so I'm going to leave space for you as a player there to tell me what you do.
I mean, I feel like I've got to go with the one that I was already setting up, where he tucks it in his breast pocket because he's actually wearing something that buttons up. I mean, he's still wearing shorts because it is so fucking hot outside, but he's got, a button up that fits him nicely, and the sleeves are rolled, to just the proper degree of, like, hotness versus having less fabric over you kind of thing. And he's doing his best to look super cool leaning against this folding table, and there's no way to look cool in this busted old laundromat that now has a broken tile from him throwing a water bottle at somebody. But he is trying his darndest. And I'm gonna reveal a heart because I've tried to impress you. Show me if you play along.
Yes, that's so good. That's so good. Um, oh man. Part of me wants to like respond to this with an action as well, because that's really interesting. But I feel like we're just gonna burn through this and run out of cards, and then I'm gonna miss Trip and Logan, and I'm gonna feel so upset. Um, yeah, I think when you tuck it in the breast pocket, like I don't. Oh man, I think like Trip laughs about it and like and points it out. And it's like, um, ooh, breast pocket, fancy. And he pulls out his phone and he's like, "Oh no, sorry, I couldn't possibly talk now. I'm on my way to a meeting." And then he like tucks it into like a pretend breast pocket. And he's where is my suit? And he finds this like old jacket that's hanging up on the back. It's like a shitty like fur-lined jacket. It's been there since winter. Someone left in a washing machine once, and he pulls it off and he like throws it over his shoulders, but not with his arms through the sleeves, and um, like jaunts and prances around the laundromat a bit. And he's like, oh, quite, Mr. Logan. I do have to dress up to go do my laundry today, and just like throws the jacket on the ground and looks at you like a big old smile and just says, "Aren't you hot wearing that?"
And Logan just somewhat embarrassingly, like, I mean, it's only checks. I mean, it's not like I've got a tie or anything. This is like a step up from flamingos.
Oh my god. Oh, that's so good. Um, I just, it's got a, and he like walks up to you and gets like probably the physically closest that we've seen the characters get at this point. And he says, I don't know, you've got your like your top button done up and everything, and I am going to play a diamond as Trip reaches out to like undo your topmost button, and the diamond is, "I have moved to touch you. Show me if you allow me."
Yeah, and Logan just freezes like he did not plan for this eventuality. I mean, he was prepared to show off books and that he's super classy, except not really. I mean, like, not too hard. Like, he's not trying super hard, but he's also trying, but he doesn't want you to know he's trying. And it's a delicate line to walk here. But he did not think that there was any possibility that Trip would fix his clothes for him, and he just freezes and doesn't do anything to deflect the touch, but is also like, does not compute what, how, what, who, help.
So I just want to be like super clear on that. Are you okay with that going through, or is it like, because I think that like assuming a freeze as assumed consent is probably real bad practice on my
Oh,
part here.
true. Yes, that is generally bad practice, but I think it's the sort of like, oh no,
Hmm.
my super secret crush who could not possibly have detected that I have a crush on him because I am super good at this.
Super
Is trying
good.
to fix my button.
Yeah.
Sort of phrase of, oh no, how do I react versus, oh
Yeah.
no, please stop.
Okay. Cool. Thank you. Um, and I think like Trip uses two hands and just like pops that button and like opens up, flares the top a little bit to like show off a bit of your chest, and he just um and again like this is probably the physically closest we've been, right? And so he just looks at you, and I think if my read is correct, I think you're like a little bit taller, right? And so Trip just like looks up at you. It's like there, much better. And I think he holds that position for a while, right? Like waiting for some sort of feedback in some direction.
Yeah, and it tries to laugh it off like, yeah, he's super cool. He thought this might happen. This isn't completely, you know, belongs in him. He's not trying to hide a sudden blush or anything. Why would you think that? Shut up. And it's like, oh yeah, that's better. I mean, looks much less like I'm off to important business meetings about business.
Oh, that's yeah, yeah. Yeah. I I like you with a little bit more freedom about you. Something about you, Logan. Just like it reads like you try really hard.
I mean, that's a good thing, right? It's the thought that counts. Trying is half the battle.
Oh boy, I have four cards left, and I'm getting to the point where like I don't. I've only got like one left of some suits or some colors, and I'm like, oh man, I don't know if I want to use this one. Um. Oh boy, I don't know if I want. Oh boy, I think I've got to. I think I got to be true to it, right? Um. He. Oh god. So. Oh man. Oh, this is so conflicting. Um. Trip sits back and with a kind like the smile fades to a half smile, and he's like, I don't know, Logan. I've been bumping into you here for like 7 or 8 months now, and I feel like you're only ever showing me what you want me to see. And I'm going to play my spade, and I'm going to say, I have chastised you. Show me if you make it up to me.
Oh man, that's so harsh.
Yeah, it's pretty
Just
brutal.
rolled to shut me down, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Logan wilts under that, much as he has in the heat before. Although now his hair is sticking a bit together, like maybe he figured out how to use some products that wouldn't melt in the heat or something. Like he's been trying to look. I mean, not nice for anyone. That's stupid. Why would you think that? But maybe he's put a little more effort into summer proofing his hair. And And I think no, he just goes like, I forget it, whatever, and goes to pull some clothes out of the dryer that have just beeped and walks away from this conversation. His pride has been wounded.
Yeah, I think Trip like that half smile fades entirely, and he just kind of like he lets out a sigh that is loud enough that you can hear it, and he walks over to his washing, and he like probably pops the door open of the dryer and checks it, even though there's no way it's dry yet, and he closes the door and just like stands there, and I think he stands away from the bench and away from the dryers, and he looks like an island in this like dirty ratty old laundromat. He just looks isolated, and he stands there uncomfortably and like hands in his pockets, still biting that bottom lip, and just like looking near you but not at you. And I think we get like a real feeling from Trip that like if he could just walk away from this and like be done with it all, he would, but he can't. Have you got a card you would like to play in any capacity here, Ryan?
I'm looking at the cards I've got and what they mean prompt wise.
Yeah.
So, oh heck, am I highlighting the right kind of card? Yes, I am. Cool. So, Logan pulls his load out of the dryer and starts just kind of folding. Determinedly, like he's only looking at his clothes. He's not looking at Trip. He didn't just completely ruin everything. Trip didn't just shut him down so much that he's gonna, you know, rue this day for weeks because it's the day he ruined everything by wearing the wrong shirt to the laundromat. And he kind of half starts to reach for his headphones and doesn't because, I mean, what's the point of finishing this book if he will never talk to Trip about it because he's too embarrassed about all of this stuff? And I am showing a club because I've shown you I want to step back. Show me if you step into me.
Oh man. Oh, I'm looking at my options. They're not good. I don't have great options for this. Um, oh, I just realized I have two of these that I want to touch you. I need to change that. I'll flag that now quickly. Um, uh, okay, Trip. Trip walks towards you, like behind you, and opens his mouth and reaches out as if to say something like a couple of times. And each time it's like, it's not great. And he stops and thinks. And eventually, I think I kind of I don't want to put a card to this because it's not the important part. But if you're okay with me touching you, he reaches out and places. Thank you. Reaches out and places a hand on Logan's shoulder, and says, like from behind you, "Look, I'm sorry. Things are really. I don't know. I don't have a lot of friends, and I'm not very good at talking to people." And I think that's why I get so into the books, because there are things I can do on my own. And he gets like a little bit embarrassed, and he's like, I can write stupid fan fiction on community forums, and it makes me feel like I'm a part of something. But part of that is that I'm not really good at talking to people, or getting to know them. And I'm sorry that I hurt you, and I would like it if you'd give me the opportunity to make it up to you. And what am I gonna play here? Um, uh, I think I'm going to change one of my prompts almost. But basically, what I'm doing is I'm playing this diamond, and I'm going to play it as I have shown you I want you. Show me if you accept me. But I'm going to change it to like I have opened up to you, or like I have made myself vulnerable to you. Show me if you accept me. And I think it's carrying the same thing. Like, this is the vulnerability. And like when he's like, let me make it up to you, he probably even like holds out a hand for you to take.
Sorry, I was just looking at the oh no, we're in the final scene prompts, and then your note alongside it, and I was trying not to crack up visibly on camera, but it's
Yeah.
entertaining.
Yeah. That's what I do.
Yeah, and Logan sort of finishes folding the shirt he'd been folding and puts it down in a neat stack with the others. Like, I mean, he's not completely taken off guard by being touched right now or anything. I mean, he's cool. We're all cool here. Everything's fine. And Transcy's like, I mean, maybe I was trying too hard, but I mean, I wanted to make a good impression or something, I guess, and just kind of reaches out to take the hand.
I think like the sound of like the two hands touching, like that little sound like echoes off the tiles and the stone walls of this laundromat, and it's a beautiful sound. And I have no more for this. Is there anything you would like to add in to wrap this up? You certainly don't have to. I think that's a good close if you'd like it to stay there.
Yeah, I think that's probably a better close than I could tack another one onto.
I don't have a line that says thank the person for playing with you, but I think it's implied. Thank you, Ryan, for tumbling your feelings with me today.
Thank you for letting me play your game.
Um, I have a lot of emotional states, but I guess at the moment I'm really interested in like where do you sort of sit emotionally with that game at the end of that? What feelings did you feel?
I mean, to be completely candid, at the moment, my main feeling is gotta pee. But before I disappear for a rapid bathroom break, I feel like when I'm reading a piece of fanfic or something where I totally ship it, but I'm worried they're not going to end up together and that maybe
Mhm.
there'll be a really good reason for it. But I'm like, but what if there's a really good reason for them to make out? And yeah, that was fun.
Awesome. I'm gonna have a chat to the camera for 5 minutes, and it's gonna be great. I'll see you soon. Um, Character generation is a lot weaker than I need it to be at the moment. It needs something to prompt you to fill you up. Those prompts are too broad to really help. I'm thinking about archetypes. I'm thinking about like um, maybe having you like select a character archetype from the top or something like that. Um, and then those archetypes are just there to be like helpful prompts for you or something like that. Or maybe those prompts influence what other people can ask you in the character generation. I'm not really sure. Um, or like it could do well to have a playbook style thing where it's got like you've got like look, eyes, whatever way you carry yourself, and then the prompts are like the history part, right? Um, for the last card thing, I kind of wanted that to end with walking out, but I didn't have a spade in my hand for a club to like leave. So what I think I want in the future is like positive and negative for each suit. So like a heart would be I've told you I love you, show me if you love me, or a heart can also be like um, I've shown you I want you, show me if you want me. Also, I've shown you uh, like basically a heart being so as a player you choose do you want this last card to be a yes or a no, and then the response is a yes or a no. Um, mm, but we'll see what comes of that. Anyway, welcome back, Ran. Has your emotional state changed?
Yes, I feel like my prior emotion is satiated or something. I mean,
I, I mean, in the time away from the game, has your emotional so like I kind of like that idea of like the shipping thing, like fanficky characters thing. It reminds me a lot of Alex Roberts' tweet where she's like, "Fan fiction is not what Starcrossed is meant for," and then someone's like talking about Pokemon Gen One fanfic played in Starcrossed. It's very good. It's very good.
so I'm the sort of person who, while watching a show, will just whisper, I ship it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like this captured some of those same feelings as me watching a show going, I don't know if the writer's going to put them together, but at the moment, I kind of ship it. But I stand ready to be convinced that it won't work.
Yeah, and I think that's what it does well for me too. Is it's like it it isn't about you're pretty much guaranteed to hit the epilogue phase at some point. Like it'd be very rough for you to go to not match three cards at some point. But it is yeah, it's interesting. Hmm, hmm. Character generation's too hard, and I acknowledge that, and I acknowledge that it put a lot of burden on you um, that I don't think was helpful. Do you want to say anything to that?
It was kind of weird defining who I am before picking things like pronouns because I was going, so I'm going to keep this really vague until I get a sense of who I'm supposed to be. But I feel like I ended up picking a kind of generic character overall because I was answering a bunch of prompts before I knew who I was answering them for.
Hmm. I've been thinking about doing archetypes, like you know how Barry's done archetypes in his thing. So you can be like the hotshot or the rookie or the wounded pilot or the whatever.
Yeah, and I definitely liked that in there because I was going, oh no, what kind of Jaeger pilot does anyone play? I mean, there's the main dude, And then there's the dude who looks almost exactly like the main dude. I don't remember anything about except I think he's Australian. And oh no, oh no. And then I saw that there was like the rookie, and I went, ah, I'll be the one who's just happy to be participating, and played that.
Perfect. Yep. And that's, I think, what I should do is be like, this is the story of blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And the archetypes can be like, I don't know what romantic comedy archetypes are. Architect? There are a lot of architects in romantic comedies.
High-powered business person
Yes.
forced to use the coin-op laundry.
Yeah, I was going to say there's something to that happening with like the coin-op laundry. But
and harried single parent, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, harried. Yes, that's a very good one. Yeah, high-flying professional, harried single parent, recent like a recent breakup person, in an unsatisfying relationship or something. Yeah, there's lots of options. So I think that would help to like give your character a really broad brush and then see what happens from there. The core mechanic of like playing a scene and then revealing a card when that happens. How did you find that? Oh, I'm sorry it's late. You can go if you want. You don't have to stick around.
No, I mean, people are always like, why are you yawning? And I'm going, that's my secret. I'm always tired.
I'm always tired.
It means nothing at all if I'm yawning. I yawn first thing in the morning. I liked it. It was very tense because I was going, oh no, I'm putting on a card. What card did Sid pick? Why is Sid so bad at games? And yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I felt that a lot too. Sorry.
I don't know. I mean, I was going also, oh no, what if we just circle each other around this thing forever and then like wander off our separate ways? That'll be so sad. But then it didn't actually take many matches for us to meet up, so I don't know. I mean, that was sort of good pacing, I guess. But I was partway through going like, no, I'm still playing these scenes, and we've already matched. Now it's the time to see if we can make out.
Oh, we didn't play a makeout card. I had a makeout card in my hand too. Should have lent to that. No, I felt very true to it in what it was. So regards pacing, I kind of like that half of the game is the epilogue. That's a big part of it for me. I think the first half is really just about learning the characters and how they interact with each other, and then the rest of it, the epilogue, is actually where like the meat of the game happens there, which is kind of interesting. When you made the decision, sorry.
I was going to say that that's definitely neat because I was looking at him going like, oh, so we play a little bit in the epilogue and then the one card. But it being like half epilogue is cool because that's not overstretching the, oh no, these two people, they might make out, but we just don't know for too long. And it actually goes into the, okay, but seriously, will they, won't they? Let's get there.
Yeah, absolutely. The decision that you made to stack your like deck in a certain order, did you feel like that was an informed decision? Did you feel like you were making that with an intention of reaching a certain consequence, or were you like, I don't know, I'll just put a couple here and a couple here and a couple here?
I was building what seemed to me a reasonable procession of how I wanted to interact with people in a coin-op laundry, and was going, I have no idea how Sid is going to stack his deck. I mean, their deck, sorry. But probably very different than mine. We're not going to be compatible, oh no. And I was like trying to make sure that there was some variation and some chance that maybe we would match. But then also going, I'm not going to come in strong with the, I want to, interact right off the front, because when I go into a public place, I want to be ignored. So, lots of black cards up front.
Okay. Part of me is really happy that you had a perceivable impact that you were trying to generate, and part of me is kind of interested that it was about decisions that you make for you, not decisions that you make for Logan. So maybe there's something to that about like, I think I need to give a better sense of character before we make that decision, and before we go into character gen. And I think that's something that I can do.
Well, and part of that's just that playing the sort of person who goes into a laundromat to make friends and maybe boyfriends is just so far out of my wheelhouse, it's hard to throw myself there without significant prompting beforehand. Because I'm a very much put in my headphones so you won't acknowledge me sort of person.
Unfortunately, that didn't work, and I fell in love with you anyway. So whatever.
Because you're bad at games.
Because I'm bad at games. That is really interesting. Okay, cool. I think there's a lot. There's a lot to work on that. I think that's probably about as much as I want to drill into this from a specific perspective, because I think the second or the split the game into thirds. The last third was very much what I wanted from it. The second third was a bit slow to get going, but really got there. Like, man, that like water bottle scene. Oh, let's do this. Of course, of course. Star to you, Ryan, for like that really cool, like revealing the red card on throwing a water. Like that was. It was just. It was really perfect to me. Like it was so inconsequentially nice, and I love that. So big star to you. If you want to give me a star, you can, but you don't have to. And you can only give one person stars in this game. Sucked in.
I mean, I feel like that's barely even a rule, given that there's only one person to give stars. But since you insisted, I will give all the stars to myself.
Yes,
because
you should.
I can't share them around.
You should.
No, I'll give you a star for suggestion that we're reading the same series but not the same book, because that looped in so many times and I loved it and it was perfect.
I think those little connections are really special, and I don't think I want to mandate them in text, but I think they are a very interesting part of that play, which is kind of cool. Thank you for that, by the way. So yeah, I think character generation is something that I can fix, and I think I can fix it by being a little bit more specific, but not too specific, and then we can play some more, and I think that'll be fun. Did you like Tumbling? Is Tumbling a game that you would like to play again, or that you would play with other people, or anything like that?
Yeah, I had fun with it. I feel like it's sort of in the same space as Starcrossed, but it gives you a bit more structure for what to do each scene, and also a bit less freedom with what to do in each scene in interesting ways. Where, like, I'd be really interested to go like, "Hey, Lauren, let us play Starcrossed, but in a laundromat, and everything," and just see how it shakes out differently. Where it has a lot of potential in nifty, weird ways, because I am always down for rom-com nonsense, and this is an important variation upon that theme.
Rom-com nonsense is my jam. No, I think you're right. That's a really good point about like what does this game bring that saying let's play Starcrossed in a laundromat doesn't bring? That's a really good question. And I think the big difference, I still haven't played Starcrossed, but I think the big difference for me is that this is very much a game about people getting to know each other through small talk, whereas Starcrossed is a game about that kind of, from what I understand, is a game about like the more grandiose part of a relationship, I guess. And like
Yes.
sorry?
Oh, as I said, Starcrossed is very much the we really want to make out, but we can't for reasons. And this is like, so we know the other person exists. Do we want to make out? And then will we? It's got important differences,
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
works much easier online as well, which is another important difference.
It's well, it's built for online play 'cause that's what I do. But yes, I
And
think
therefore
that
superior.
no, Alex is amazing, and I would never put myself up against. I'm not sure Alex's pronouns, so I'm going to say her work. Yes. Well, I'm excited, and I would like, if now that you knew how it's played, you have access to a Google Sheet. You're more than welcome to play this with anyone at any point. I reckon you and Lauren would have a fucking ball with this game. I'm going to keep making some changes to it, and I'll keep you updated and stuff as I do. But mostly, I think it'll be in the character generation aspect, fixing the prompts and changing the end so that there's both yes and because I really wanted to, at the end of it, I really wanted to be like, I'm going to leave. Show me if you let me go. But I didn't have the card to do that. So I was like, fuck, I have to play into this, which is fine. Like, I don't care about that. But that is a level of decision making I don't want my game to exert onto people.
Yeah, and the I'm gonna leave. Show me if you let me go is such a rom com trope staple. I feel like I hadn't realized it was missing from this game, but now I'm like, how does this game not have that?
Mm-hmm.
The but I'm gonna go board a plane. Do you try to charge through security to tell me that you love me? Except that this is laundromat. So do you try to gather up your drying and leave? And I'm like, no, you
And that's the thing.
forgot your shirt.
Yeah. It's so low stakes, right? Which I love. I love it. Makes me so happy. Yeah, I will link you to that tweet as well. That Alex Roberts tweet. It's very good. Because the retweet that she's doing is worth reading on its own. Okay, so we're going to cut this off here. Thank you so much, Ryan, for spending your time playing with me. Thank you, Logan, for being the cutest of cuties. Fuck, I just want to cuddle Logan so much. I think he just needs a hug. And thank you for, I think, no, I was going to say playing the first queer Tumbling, but Haley and V queered it up pretty hard, which was good. So, and they were the first playtest, so bless them. To everybody out there watching, catch Ryan at Transalaskan, which is still the best Twitter handle ever. Catch me at Action Economy, and we will continue to play cutie characters in the future. Ryan, if I do make a change on this, would you like me to approach you about playing Tumbling with me again?
Ew, I would never play Tumbling again. No, yeah, seriously, I would play this.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Everyone else, and Ryan, actually, just even through the earthquakes, keep giving a hoot.